Hi, when you think of the name John F. Kennedy, what's the first kind of quote that comes to mind? When I think of it, I think of the quote, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Hi, my name is Dylan Stefl, and I believe that John F. Kennedy and his inaugural address is the single most influential speech in United States history. I'm credible to talk about this because, firstly, I've done my research, and as a future educator, I got to learn very quickly about some of these movements that were occurring, such as the Cold War battle that was occurring between capitalist United States and communist Soviet Union. Now, there are three main points that I'm going to be going over. Firstly, that JFK wished to instill more faith in the government and try and get more people involved in the government as a whole. Secondly, he wished to unite a kind of divided America during these Cold War tensions behind the common cause of fighting against the Cold War Soviet Union. And there's also some counter arguments that I will be getting into in just a moment. Firstly, according to Michael Tirkis and Carol Schwartz, JFK said, quote, and so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. My fellow citizens of the world, ask not what America will do for you, but what together we can do for the freedom of man. He wanted to raise awareness about civil action and public service to kind of unite this country that was so divided throughout this time. A person that best noted that is Sam Meyer, who says the quote, Kennedy reveals his intention to raise a symbolic level of Cold War communication and magnify its impact on the consciousness of friend and enemies. He wished to unite America during this divided time. Now, as I just mentioned, he utilized a powerful rhetoric that wished to evoke feelings of empathy and sympathy, just something that would unite the Americans. Also, according to Sam Meyer, he says that, quote, despite the bitter cold of 20 to 22 degrees Fahrenheit and the near 14-minute durations of their speech, there was also 14 interruptions or long breaks necessitated by the applause of the crowd. They were so involved in his speech that they loved hearing him. They brought it on despite the bitter cold. And he also plays upon their emotions through saying that we are a stronger nation when friend and foe work together towards the common goal. According to Michael Tirkis and Carol Schwartz, JFK says, quote, let the word go forth from this time and place to friend and foe alike that the torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans, pledging ourselves to service and sacrifice for the common good. We are stronger when we work together. Now, there have also been some counter arguments. Firstly, MLK's I Have a Dream speech. For those of you that don't know that speech, that is the speech where, quote, MLK says, I have a dream that one day my children will grow up in a world where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Now, while I believe that this speech is widely celebrated for its impact on civil rights and other social causes, it doesn't necessarily stand out to American political culture like JFK's speech, and it also doesn't have that ability to inspire a sense of national purpose like JFK's inaugural address did. Some may also argue that FDR's inaugural address is more memorable, and that's the speech where he says, quote, we have nothing to fear but fear itself. Now, again, well, this one also was very hard hitting, and it stood and it shed light, on persevering through adversity, aka the Great Depression. It doesn't necessarily instill that sense of national pride in the American people, since, to be quite honest, the government got the people deeper into the Depression. So why should they believe in them? But FDR's speech is very prevalent, but not nearly as prevalent as JFK's. Now, I'd like you all to take inspiration from his message, and we need to work together to build not just a better world for ourselves, but for the entire world as we know it today. And his legacy will live on through his famous words, and his call to action continues to inspire Americans to this day. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. I thank you guys for your time. My name is Dylan Stefl.